Good evening. Tonight's developing story begins at the point of entry, not conclusion, not consequence, arrival. Four separate presents have entered the atmosphere simultaneously, each presenting itself with convincing authority. Once arriving, carrying memory. Another arrives carrying knowledge. Another arrives carrying intuition. And another arrives carrying a question powerful enough to destabilize an entire personal history. At this hour, investigators cannot yet determine which energies are resourceful and which are distractions wearing inexpensive disguises. Early reports confirm that both tend to arrive the same way: confident, well packaged, emotionally persuasive. In some cases, distraction introduces itself as destiny. In other cases, help arrives looking inconvenient, unfamiliar, or emotionally threatening. This has created widespread confusion at the point of arrival. Witnesses report an inability to distinguish comfort and alignment, familiarity and safety, attention and intention. At the center of tonight's coverage is a developing concern surrounding perception. The question is no longer, what entered my life? The question is, did it introduce itself honestly? Sources close to the situation confirm there is currently no clarity, only exposure. Exposure to patterns, exposure to emotional reflexes, exposure to old narratives attempting to reclaim authority over new possibilities. One document recovered from the scene asks, if a previous negative experience seemed true to you and stands in the way of your dreams, is it really the truth? Authorities have not yet released a final statement. However, analysts believe this may be less about deception from others and more about the difficulty of recognizing opportunity after prolonged disappointment. Meanwhile, the direction labeled "Read" remains under active examination. Experts suggest the instruction may indicate a need for observation before attachment, study before surrender, understanding before emotional investment, and finally, the figure identified only as a sacred sorcerer appear connected to emerging reports of heightened intuition among survivors of difficult cycles. Officials describe the energy as calm, watchful, no longer naive, but no longer closed. At this time, the situation remains ongoing. This is not the aftermath. This is the arrival report. If someone were to gift you these heart-shaped diamond earrings, how would you perceive it? Considering previous negative experiences seem true to you and stand in the way of your dreams, would you ask yourself, is this really the truth, or could I look at it from another angle? Or could I allow my dreams to come true despite my history? What is your history? Your history of believing that when a person say they're ready, they're there for you, only to prove that they're another disappointment or another sad love song. Okay, with the Six of Cups, and then you have Reed, the Sacred Sorcerer, which would be like a witch, or considered to be a witch. To me, and it's right next to the previous negative experience. It's like neuroses constantly being inflicted on you, and you still kept yourself educated. Okay? Whether the book is a fantasy novel, regardless of what you're reading, or the work of nonfiction, reading opens us to new perspectives and expands our minds. So I feel like it's hard for people to penetrate you at this point. You've become impervious to any external validation. Getting your hands on a book that gets you excited, whether you borrow one from a friend, there's something about reading. This is a medicine for any type of confusion. It gives a lot of clarity. It keeps the muscle sharp. So as we see the Six of Cups, you see pleasure. If I offer you My undying friendship. Someone is turning up the notch. They're offering gifts. I'm going to put this on the Six of Cups. I feel like we've known each other forever. These heart-shaped diamond earrings. Okay. They want to extend their friendship or even a dowry as a hand in marriage. It's something here where they want to make an offer to you that you won't refuse. Pardon me, I dropped my feather. Collective. You've been burned before, as we all have. So you're not sure. It's hard to take it serious. You may be a little jaded. You just play to play. Without further ado, this could be somebody who's successful, who has commercial success with the Knight of Wands, the rock star. And they want you to believe they're not like every other rapper. And you have the stigma floating around in the news that all the rappers have a mask on. They really are a part of a cult division. And you could be an exotic dancer, so they assume you go hand in hand. Or they want you to do salacious things to prove your loyalty, because that's what they know. That's what they're groomed to know. The Knight of Pentacles. I hear Beyonce's lyrics. I like my men patient. Check up on it. On the bottom, Ten of Swords. You could be speaking to someone in a way where it's like you could feel like this person's a misalignment. But does it really have to do with where your past, how your past has shaped your character? Or do you feel like, I feel like you intuitively think this person cast a love spell on you, because the space that you can readily identify with is education and articulation and work ethic, focus. Knight of Pentacles is somebody who has a real solid foundation built for themselves, so it can seem like an unwanted connection, an unsolicited connection. Unsolicited contract, the unsolicited friendship. It's like it feels like a distraction to you. It feels negative. Maybe your previous experience was negative, or now this experience. I feel like this experience could have came to pass, and now you're talking about it. You seem worried. The energy feels like you finally reached a space in you finally reached a space where you have the right balance, the right calibration of self-respect, self-love, self-worth. You don't want to share with anybody. Page of Pentacles. You're so focused on what you're doing that you don't have time for nothing else. So you got someone, you could work with kids or have kids, the kindergarten teacher. Like you put yourself through a transformation so to persevere through a lot of darkness, a lot of negativity that was inflicted on you. So you don't see it. You don't see it as this should be a positive thing, or this would be a thing that works out in my favor. Ace of Wands is on the bottom. Prince of Cups. So it's like a King of Cups. They're fertile for you. They're hot for you. They feel spiritually drawn to you. With the Ace of Wands, they're moving forward with an opportunity, and they're drawing their canvas the way they see fit. Because you see, he's a filmmaker. So he's the one trying to dictate how this movie is going to go. Or his perception. He wants to make sure his lenses are clear. You know what? I never noticed. His outfit looked like outer space. It looks like a an ethereal, like this person is deeply intuitive and ethereal. Like he knows this to be a certain way, or this should go a certain way. Meanwhile, you're taking a more grounded, practical approach. You don't see it in the spiritual lenses, from the spiritual lenses that this person does. You honestly almost treat this person like a distraction. Four of Wands. What you consider stability, graduation, completion, celebratory energy, the inspiration is what you're making for yourself. You have spent a long time sharing yourself, your assets, your resources with people only to be held back or let down, and you don't see fit to do that anymore. And that's a karmic justice. That's balancing. Remember I said that's balancing out the scales. You have the right calibration of what you need for yourself, how you show up for others, and it's really causing someone to grow attached to you or be more attached to you because they've never seen that type of structure, or maybe they never experienced that type of structure. This person has doubts and worry, or you do, with the Nine of Swords. You have anxiety. The idea you don't want to share your water dish or your toys. You're very alpha, very territorial. You have your life set and you don't want to share. I also see the Nine of Swords like someone tried to crush your dreams as a child, and you've grown more territorial and more protective of it as an adult. Whatever you feel inspired to do. And you have the Two of Cups. I'm not surprised that I see the Two of Cups, because I see someone trying to bind or hurry up what they feel like this should be, or what they feel like this is. Someone sees an opportunity and the way they handle it is witchy. They see an opportunity for themselves. The first thing they have a negative connotation or a distorted view of how you should love a person. They don't have the respect mass to that conglomerate. They just have the love. Okay, if I have the emotional depth for this experience, I should assume access and territory, because I assume I'm projecting my emotional depth onto the other person. Meanwhile, the other person is full of anxiety because they don't feel that way. And the reason the anxiety is what they're picking up on is because the person is forcing a narrative their way. So it's coming off like pressure. They're trying to force it. I don't see why not. This person can obviously be a little imbalanced or dysregulated, and it's showing that they're a little clumsy as it pertains to you. So they're accustomed to doing things the good way and the bad way, and they're conflicted. This is where the confliction. You're actually intuitive as well, so you're picking up on their confliction of how do I ground, they're not even attempting to be practical and try to ground it. They're just running away with their emotions because it lit a fire under their behind. It's an inspiration. So you're picking up on the anxiety and the mental anguish of this person losing something that they didn't think they were worthy of having, or felt like it was karmic that they didn't have it. So when they met you, they forced, it's like they come like a dumpster truck of emotions and trying to force it, but they're conflicted. It's like they're trying to show up patient or show up nice, but in actuality they're really a sorcerer, but they have feelings for you. On the surface, it looks calm, but they have inner turmoil because this is how they know how to do things. This is how they get things done in record time. But they don't connect the dots of how that has worked out in the past. Previous negative experiences, it proves them that they should not take authority over their own life. They should. This is the perspective you might be speaking from, or why you move so slow. This person is a little irritated with you, to be honest, because they want you to pick up the pace. They don't see why you can't pick up the pace, but it's like, what's your rush? Your attitude is like, it's an alarm. It's sounding something off. Your intuition is signaling you about something. They need to slow down with you. This is gonna be the transformation of a lifetime when it comes to this person and how they do things, because you're going to teach them a lesson they're never going to forget, and it's going to have a positive impact. And here's the art. And there's a lot of artistry pictures here, like the gourmet chef, the temperance is somebody who's balanced. That's talking about balance. That's talking about the wounded healer. There's going to be a mural on the wall, but I see that symbolically for you because they hold you in such a high esteem that you taught them a lesson that no one else could. And this is where they see you, like the light to the shadow side, or vice versa. You're the light to their darkness. They see that. They also see you've persevered through a darker period of time in your own life. So this can read as familiar to you too. You could be two peas in a pod, potentially, as long as things are calibrated correctly. But this has to be in the mix. It can't be a plethora of both. You may end up letting someone down, or maybe considering letting someone down. And you're already reading the intensity of it, so you're trying to be strategic about it. The Temperance being a major arcana, the Justice is a major arcana. It reads to me is you are alike in a way, but you're not right for each other. You're not end all for each other. Ten of Pentacles. This person could be trying to pass themselves off as everything perfect in the book. The Two of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles. While you already have a steady approach on how you want to, the Ten of Cups on the bottom, see? This person could be trying to ghost the real methodical steps as to what it takes to obtain this status. This person reads you as someone who can be light or dark, like a two-headed doctor. You could do it the dark way, you could do it the light way. They read that about you, but you don't operate that way. So it's like a pre-warning, like a pre-forecast that should you go along with this person, you may end up on the wrong side of things. Whether there's emotional contentment, this person is looking for a partner in crime, but you don't see all of, he assumes or she assumes, you don't see all that comes with this person. They come with more than what meets the eye. And what's on the bottom? The High Priestess is an intuition. It's a deep intuition. They like you. They only want to use you for what you can do. To flip money, to increase the fortune, to change their fortune. So now you know what the intensity is. It's like emotions need to be grounded into something practical. But you lead a very mild, I don't want to say mild, I would say modest, mild-mannered type of lifestyle where you don't cross boundaries in a way that this person will, just to get ahead. And that's going to be the transformation for them with the Scorpio energy. right here. So you don't know. It's like so what it says to me is you don't know. Six of Pentacles, success. We can work together. This person wants to work together with you to accomplish success. They have success. Maybe they have success on their own, but never had success in a romantic encounter, and they're taking it out on you. Is what it looks like. You're going to have to let this person down easy because you've already carved out a path for yourself. You don't blind follow people, and you don't let people rule themselves as an authority figure over you. So you're going to have to respect each other's conglomerate from the opposite sides of the train tracks. If this person decides to go dark, you've already chose to go light. Not that you are anything negative in the book, but this person maybe assumes access and they're picking up on some kind of residue that does not even concern you. That doesn't even penetrate you. Ah, there you go. Queen of Cups. The Therapist. I told you, you took a very powerful route in life, but you also took a very mild-mannered. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You have peace in your life. You chose the peaceful route. But that's you being quick with it. I feel like you learned your lesson through other people inflicting their beliefs off on you. You have a boundary up that people mistake your sensitivity or your nurturing ways as a way to manipulate the experience. You turn out to be a mastermind. You mastered yourself. This person still needs to sit with themselves by themselves, and that's a judgment. So this person, I feel like they made a mistake with you, or trying to make a mistake, forcing a narrative with you, and that's going to be the transformation of a lifetime. Because you have arrived. Y'all could be, you think about Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They were actually assigned to take each other down, but they fell in love with each other. This person is more on the lovey side of it, but he's still trying to pursue an agenda. Where you are more laser focused, unbothered, unbinded by previous negative experiences because you've mastered yourself. And you master his game, or the game. I hope that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Sex. Plan a vacation. You see, he's pulling out all the stops. Now you understand why the gifts, he's trying to bind you through emotional persuasion or accelerated emotional attachment. Okay? Council of Light on the bottom. Divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realm. This isn't for you. You know it isn't for you. You feel like it isn't for you. You don't have a problem being transparent. And that's how previous negative experiences shaped your character and mastered you. You came out the house prepared. Here, sex does not have to be an unhealthy thing. Okay, so you got read, you got sex, you got plan a vacation. They want to give you this they want to give you the cosmic orgasm. And there's a deep well of joy, the bliss, the healing available through sex when treated as a sacred experience of the divine union. He's trying to level with you when he's coming with another agenda. I feel like you picked it up, you picked up on the scent, and you're going to maneuver a certain way. And the fact that you have planned a vacation is about finding adventure and inspiration everywhere you go. You're somebody who's been around the world, who's been around the block in a way that's productive and accomplished and well established, thoroughly educated. Some of you might have roadblocks in planning a vacation if the money isn't where it should be. And that's where I feel like your focus is. You're trying to expand on yourself and your brand and further educate. It's conducive for your life. The tools you have set in place and the resources you have set in place for you, you're not open to share them. I feel like you're content with being a loner. Yeah, you're called to take a look at what commitments in your life would need the adjustments to make the necessary time and space and resources available. And that's where I feel like your focus is. So if you want to graduate from the previous negative experience, the advice... Oh, wait. I feel like you've seen this scenario before. That's why the previous negative experience stands in the way of your dreams. You see that this is going to slow you down. You understand that this is not from God, it's from the devil, in a sense, to put it in the simplest terms. You know it's not for you. This is like a hermit card. Pure bliss, pure celeste, pure faith. Psychic portal. See, it's always a light and dark. It's a whole light and dark contrast, a black and white contrast to this message, because you got Six of Cups. I don't know if y'all combated each other from previous lifetimes, or they've been trying to master you for many lifetimes. But you got the Justice here. You see how he's good or bad depending on what day it is. Psychic portal. Someone's trying to integrate your mind, your intuition, to take precedence over you, to have their way. That's just how they roll. That's just not projection. It's just you realize that with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Swords, like their mind intrigue is there, but they're trying to take you down yet and still. That's like somebody being overly possessive and territorial because they have feelings more than you. And they want to control it, the whole narrative, because they have feelings more than you. And they're willing to resort back to old ways, the old block ways, to secure themselves. So when you're out of control, you tend to try to control others. So what they're boldly telling you is you take more power and precedence over their emotional state than they're willing to give. And they can't help that. So they're projecting these ways onto you to try to get on top of it. Not realizing you just mastered yourself. Yeah, totem of air. You have clarity. You don't move with the burdens of yesterday. It's a new day. And you got a newfound inspiration every day. Divine messenger, see? Mystical ecstasy. See? You got more power than this person. Just being yourself. This person think they know what to do with you. They may even feel like they know who you are. Your day job may be a therapist, or, something community effective, something that benefits people. But in actuality, they think you're a two-headed doctor. They think you're light and dark, a plethora of both. I don't think they envy it. I think they want to control it. You see, they see you. You show up as these things. The Temperance, the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups. You have them wrapped around your finger. Divine messenger. Let's be clear. Mystical ecstasy, you're at peace. You're nothing like this. Okay? Your help is very the presence is strong, but you can't see it with the naked eye. So if you were to graduate from a previous negative experience, basically what it would look like for you, be curious in your everyday life. React with interest to everything new life presents you. Curiosity will open your mind for new possibilities. So there's a lot of talent on this table, like in this message. You got multiple passive streams of income that you can turn into really good reading material for you. So if it resonates, like, share, subscribe.